Hi guys, Jordan from P&P Campers. Just going to do a handover video on this Swift Mondial. It's based on the 2008 Fiat Ducato chassis. So what I'll do is I'll start under the bonnet, work my way around the outside, and then we'll go on the inside after that. So we've got the washer fluid reservoir up here, power steering fluid and engine coolant. You've then got your brake fluid attached to the servo just behind there, engine oil and your engine oil dipstick just down here. We've got the chassis plate just here and your air conditioning information just here as well, just telling you that you need 0.550 grams of gas inside the system. You've got your air filter inside this little box just down here, the circular one. Fuel filter sits inside that little reservoir at the back just there, or the container. You've also got, because your engine battery sits under the floor in the cab, you've got a positive terminal which is easily accessible just here underneath this little cover, and a negative or an earthing terminal just here at the front. So if you ever wanted to jump start the vehicle, that's where you would go to, under the bonnet. Really easy to get to. So inside the passenger door, we've got your bonnet release handle just here. Diesel filling point is behind this little flap just here behind the passenger door. Near side of the vehicle has your sliding door. Not much to show just here, to be completely honest, but I just thought I'd open it up so you can see. As I say, I'll get through to the inside of the van in just a minute, but I'll carry on around the outside first. Behind this sliding door is where your gas locker lives. So inside the gas locker itself, we've got a really good size locker here. So you've easily got space for 2 6-kilo propane bottles in here, which is one of these. So to turn the gas bottle on, we're going to go anti-clockwise around to the left, and to turn it off, we go all the way clockwise around to the right. So we'll leave that on for a minute so I can show you some things working inside. So around towards the back of the van, if I open this door up here, and then I'll open up the other side, a couple of things to show you in here. So the Swift Mondial itself is very similar in its layout inside, but has a couple of things that are really handy. I think they're really clever. So the whole back of this behind this door here is one big opening door. So if I press this little latch here and open this up, it actually gives you, not only does it give you loads of storage in there, so you've got storage bits and pieces up there, down here as well, but it gives you a really good access to the back of your sink unit, which, you know, I doubt you would know about it because obviously you probably haven't worked with these things before, but I can tell you from experience that having access to this here like this is an absolute godsend. Usually if we do have a leak from something like this, it's a case of taking the entire bathroom to pieces in order to get to the back of the sink like this. So you've got the tails for the tap, the connections, the waste fitment there. It's all there, really easy to get to. That's such a good idea. Below that, we've got some spare bits and pieces that the previous owners left behind, and at the bottom here we've got your toilet cassette. So you've got a freshwater flush on here, so you haven't got any separate flush fluids to worry about. And to remove the actual cassette itself, we lift up on the little yellow tab here and pull the cassette towards us. We can then pull this all the way forwards, and don't worry about the green stuff, it's literally just the fluid that's into it. You just need to give it a little clean off. So all you need to know from there, to be completely honest, is that you drain it out from here. So this twists round and you drain it out from here. And whilst you're draining it out, you should hold down this little yellow button at the back, and that will basically just release any pressure that's inside of here before it starts coming out. Push it all the way back in, and that's it, all done. You will need a cap full of the blue fluid to go back inside there before you push it all the way back in, but that's it. Right, so, and also just so you know, you've got your external shower points just there. That's what these extra bits are at the top, which I will explain to you in just a moment. So close this door first, the near side rear door, and the off side. So on the off side of the van, we've got a few more bits to sort of explain. So we've got, first thing you'll come to is going to be this, which is your boiler vent. So if you've got the boiler lit up on gas, you will feel hot air coming out either side of this vent. Next one over is your ultra flow. So this is your water filter. You've got a pump to fill the water tank up, which you have got the point for inside that rear door, which I just pointed out. And you've got an external shower socket here as well. So you can use it as an external shower point as well as a water filling point. These two vents just here are both to do with your fridge. So if you had the fridge lit up on gas, you will feel warm air coming out through this vent just over here, and you can get access to the gas valve and all the gas bits and pieces like the burner from this lower locker here. Down low, we've got the wastewater drain off point, which has got a big yellow handle there. So that's how you drain out your wastewater. And if you've got your heater on, you will feel warm air coming out through that lower vent just there as well. This one just here to the right is your electric hookup. So if you do have access to an electric hookup cable, it's really handy to have that plugged in. It will give you access to your mains charger and any mains appliances that you might have inside the vehicle. In the cab itself, we've got a couple of nice extras. So we've got your lock and unlock button on the door. You've got the electric windows from the door and your electric adjusting mirrors. You've then also got your cruise control stalk just down here below the indicators. You've got the 6-speed manual gearbox, and you've also got the air conditioning switch just down there in the middle as well. You've got a nice new Pioneer head unit up there, which we have got the box for just here as well. So you can have a little look through there. And the cab, or the front window blinds, as you can see up here as well. So lots of nice little bits and pieces in the cab there for nice comfortable drive. And that's about it for under the bonnet as well. So what I'll do is I will just hop into the back end of the van now. So one of the first things I noticed when I first got in this van was just how much storage there is. I think Swift have done a really clever job with the amount of storage. So you've got obviously all of these overhead sort of airplane locker style cupboards. Really good sized wardrobe here. I mean, that's one of the deepest wardrobes I've ever seen in any motorhome, let alone a small sort of van sized vehicle. So it's very impressive. So first thing I'm going to run you through is going to be a couple of little odds and sods, and then I'll get on and actually show you the main bulk of it over there. So you've got your TV locker just inside here. So you've got your TV aerial socket point in there. So that's all there. A couple of drinks holders. You've also got an aerial point up here. So it depends where you want to have it plugged in, really. I'm not sure where you're going to want to have a TV. You might want to have a bracket on the side here, perhaps. But it's completely up to you. So all your TV stuff's over here on this right hand side. What else have we got? Anything else? Trying to see if there's anything else a little bit more sort of unusual. I don't think there is really. Okay, so the actual main control panel for the vehicle is this one down here at the bottom, the silver fronted one. And essentially what you've got is you've got left and right. And the reason I sort of point that out, I know that looks really obvious, but if you press right first, it takes you onto one set of things. And if you press left first, it takes you onto some other different things. So if I press right, first of all, it comes up telling us water pump is on. I can turn that on and off by pressing this middle button here. Next one over, charge habitation. You don't have to worry about that. That's basically just, essentially, if I just go back through to that, sorry. Charge habitation, that's going to be giving you the option of, if your electric hookup is plugged in, that gives you the option of habitation battery or vehicle battery. So that basically tells the charger which battery to charge. So the reason I say you don't have to worry about that is because 9 times out of 10, you're going to want to leave that on habitation, because driving the vehicle charges the engine battery. And yeah, you know, for the most part, if you're hooked up on the mains, you're going to want to be charging your leisure battery. So you would leave that there on habitation anyway. Next one is setting the clock, alarm, and your sound level. Leave that on medium for you. Water alarm, so that's to tell you if the fresh water gets a little bit low, so that's been left off. I would also leave it off. It does get pretty annoying sometimes. And that's back to the home screen. So that's all the things that you get to when you press right. If I press left, it then tells us the battery level is good. So habitation battery, good. Vehicle battery, good. Battery charge. So again, don't worry about that one. All right, that's just basically telling you, I think that's to do with the D+ signal, so when you're driving the vehicle. But again, pressing left is essentially just to show you your levels. So you've got hab battery, vehicle battery, battery charge, and then your water level. So the water level is 100%. So then we should be able to, assuming that we've got our pump switch turned on, we should then be able to draw water through the tap. Also important to make sure, and don't worry about the water just here, I made an absolute mess of this. I turned it on when it was here by accident earlier, so that's my fault. When you turn the tap off, when the water stops running through the tap, the pump itself should turn itself off after a couple of seconds. All that means is it means that the water is pressurizing inside the vehicle via the pump, and when it turns itself off, that means it's up to pressure, so that's a really good sign. So if you've got your water pump switch turned on and it's not running, it means you're up to pressure and there's no leaks. So it's really important to double check that straight away when you first come into the vehicle. Just make sure that you've got water coming through the hot and the cold side of the tap. That tells you two things. It tells you that, one, the boiler is full of water and good to go. It also tells you that your whole system hasn't got any air in it, and you're not going to, there's no leaks or anything like that. So it's really important to do that. On that note, down here inside this cupboard, you've got a couple of things actually that are quite handy to know. First things first, you've got this up here, which is your boiler, which is a little bit unusual to be up off the floor, but it must just be how Swift decided to manufacture it. So that is the boiler itself. It's a 10-litre Truma boiler. I suppose actually saying that, it does make it quite a lot easier to get to if you ever needed to work on it. So there is that. Below that, we've got your freshwater pump. So that is what this pump is here. This is an inline pump, which basically means that it's a pump that doesn't sit inside the water in the tank. They've all got their pros and cons, but this particular one is just a inline pump. So down below that, what I was actually going to show you is this little yellow tab. So this little yellow tab is your boiler drain off point. As you can see, it basically comes directly from this little blue feed here, straight down and out to the floor. So when you lift that tab upright, so it's vertical, it drains all the water out from the boiler, and that's what you need to do if you're going to winterize your van and get it ready for winter. If you find that you come into the van one day and you can't get any water coming through the hot side of the tap, likelihood is the boiler isn't quite full yet. So double check that that's down in the flat position like it is now, and then just allow the water to come through. It eventually will get rid of any air inside the boiler, and it will start coming through just like you've seen just then. All right, so that is your sort of boiler and water system. Fairly straightforward. So going back to this area just here, so just above that we've got another TV socket here and a mains point. This is also a 12-volt socket here if you've got a 12-volt telly. A couple of light switches just there. Do certain lights towards the back end of the vehicle and the front. Above that is the options for your boiler and your heating. So if we wanted to light the boiler up on gas and get the water hot, first of all you need to make sure that the boiler is actually full of water by doing what I've shown you just then. But basically you just come here to this little Ultra Store tab here and twist the outer ring once. So twisting that outer ring once and having the little green light come on just basically tells the boiler to light up, and that's what it will do. So I've heard it light straight up just then, so that's absolutely perfect. You've then got a temperature gauge from 30 all the way through to 70, and that just determines the temperature of the water inside the boiler. Now obviously, again, I always feel like I'm saying obvious things, but I do feel the need to say them. The hotter you get the water, the less of it you're going to have to use and the further it will go. So if you imagine, you know, at the end of the day, even if you've got a hot water, like an immersion tank boiler at home, they hold like 100 litres or more of hot water. Whereas this boiler here, just like all the motorhomes boilers, holds 10 litres. So you do have to be careful of how much you use. Otherwise you will find that, you know, you might have one shower and be out of water, of hot water. So it's important to keep your eye on that. And as I say, the hotter you get the water inside the boiler, the less of it you have to use with the mixture of cold. So it's just a little tip. Back to this position here, it switches the boiler off. So as long as you've got no lights inside this little dark ring in the middle, the boiler is switched off. To the left of that, you've got Trumatic E, all right, which is basically your heater. So it doubles up as a fan as well. So if it is hot outside, you can just go up 1 or up 2, and all that does is it blows cool air out from one of these 2 vents. That's literally all it does. All right, so if you go up on here, please don't expect it to get hot, because it won't. it literally won't even light the flame up. It just pumps out air. If you go back to the middle and go down 1 or down 2, that is when you're going to get the flame lighting up and actually going to start pumping through some hot air. So the difference is you've basically got small flame and large flame. That's it. So depends on how much of a rush you're in for heating to come on. It's completely up to you. But you probably heard it just then. It lit straight up just then. And after about, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, you're going to have really nice warm air pumping out into this vehicle. So back to the middle again, switches the system off. And that's it. So that is your heating and your hot water, all from that little area just there. Now you've got a brown box just here, which has got all the paperwork in it. So this is absolutely stacked of paperwork. And then the next thing I'm going to show you is going to be the fridge. So the fridge itself is a Dometic 3-way fridge, much like a lot of the fridges in the motorhomes. You've got a freezer compartment at the top, and the rest of it is all just standard fridge temperature. You have also got a lock up here, which comes across. So if you push it to the left when you close it and push it to the right once it's closed, that is now locked in place. So that is a nice little travel catch there, basically. So 3-way fridge means that it works on 3 different energies. So you've got gas at the top, mains hookup in the middle, and 12 volt at the bottom. So if I press once to the right, you probably heard just there on the video, the igniter started clicking away and the gas would have started coming through. So as soon as that gas flame lights up, the ignition stopped, and we've now got a nice solid amber light in here next to the gas flame. So that means that our gas is lit and it's working perfectly. If I had the electric hookup plugged in, I would be down here on hookup, and they are the 2 ways that will get this fridge cold. The 12 volt down at the bottom here is for when your engine is running, and all it really does is it holds the temperature inside the fridge that you've already put inside of it. So the 12 volt element is not powerful enough to get the fridge cold by itself, so you do have to pre-cool it first, either on the gas or the mains, and then switch over to 12 volt just for whilst you're driving, switch back to one of the other 2 when you're parked up. So even if you do light it up on the gas or use the mains, it still is going to take a good 3 hours or so to actually get cold. I always like to say, you know, people are normally shocked by that. They think, oh, bloody hell, 3 hours. But actually, if you got a new fridge at home and plugged it into the wall for the first time from hot, it's not going to be cold within 20 minutes. You know, it's going to be hours before that thing's completely cold. So you just have to bear that in mind. It's quite a big area for something to cool right down from warm. So even if you do use the gas or the mains, it's going to take 3 hours. So just bear that in mind. So if you're going to go away on holiday tomorrow morning, you know, at least 3 or 4 hours, or even the night before, make sure that you get this fridge going to cool down. Back to the middle at the top, turns the fridge off, and that is it. Right, so this little thing here sits inside there, and then you can put the lid down. You've then got the cooker at the back just here. So you've got a 3-burner hob at the top, which are all powered by this ignition switch. So if I just show you there, easy as that. Same goes for the other two. I can't quite reach with my hand. The last one on the right hand side here is your oven and grill dial. So the grill is at the top just here, so you have to keep your eye on that when you turn it on. Oven's straight down the back, and that is on the same ignition switch just here as the 3 burners. Other thing, make sure that you pull this little thing out here. Not a lot of people don't even know about it, but you need to make sure that you pull this out before you start using the grill. Otherwise these little knobs here will start to shrivel up and look funny. So as I said, absolutely ginormous wardrobe in here, loads and loads of storage space. Down underneath this offside seat, we've got your leisure battery inside this little holder here, and your mains trip switches over there. It's handy to know where they are. And a mains socket there as well. So, bathroom is going to be the last thing I need to run you through, I think. So we've got obviously you've got a shower. It's essentially a wet room, this, so works in a lot of the same way as a lot of the vehicles. You essentially got everything's waterproof. So you got the shower point just here, literally hot and cold shower point just there. As you can see from the outside, you've got your hot and cold water sink just here. You will notice there's no drain inside the actual sink itself. That's because the drains are down the back here. So to drain it out, you literally just lift this up and allow the water to pour down the back as you close the lid. The toilet is very simple as well. You've got a fresh water flush, so as long as you've got some water in the tank and the pump is turned on, you can press this blue button here and it will flush around into the bowl. To drain this out into the actual cassette, you pull this handle just here towards you. It will drain whatever's there into the cassette, and then make sure that you push it back. And that's it. Nice and easy. Yeah. Switch just here for the light in the bathroom. And I must admit, I think that's about it. So if there's anything you think I've missed out or anything you want going over again, just give us a shout. But otherwise, we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks very much.